The Celtics Talk podcast is presented by 24autogroup.com. 11 locations across New England.
What's up, everybody? Post-game pod back. It feels like I haven't done a post-game pod in forever. I know we had Tuesday night over at the Garden, the other NBA Cup game with Cleveland, but I don't know, one game in like 6 days. I've been waiting for this one, and clearly the Celtics had some rust, but they get to the finish line of a 108-96 triumph over the Washington Wizards. It vaults them right back into the mix in the NBA Cup, and well, that's about as nice of a thing as I'm going to say about tonight's game. It is not one. If you're pressing play on this podcast, I'm assuming you didn't see the game, because I'm not sure anyone wants to hear more about this thing. The bottom line is the Celtics did what they had to do. They got a W. It was an ugly W. Not always the crispest basketball. Even Jaylen Brown goes for 31 points, but on 11 of 27 shooting. Can't even be mad because they kind of needed him to carry the team out there. Added 11 rebounds, 5 assists, a solid night. The crazy part, Jayson Tatum was 6 of 19 from the floor, 0 for 10 from three-point. Only 16 points, which I believe was a season low, but he was still plus 20. So 37 minutes. That's what Jayson Tatum does. Those two paired up late in the fourth quarter to really get this team to the finish line. I'm gonna talk more about Derek White. I'll talk a lot about the bench as we do this. But hey, look, your superstars helped you find a way to get to the finish line. And again, the bigger picture here is that they're now tied, or well, not really tied. They are now 2-1 in the NBA Cup, which is the same record as the Atlanta Hawks. Now, of course, Hawks own the head-to-head tiebreaker, so they are technically in the lead for Group C play. But the Celtics are hoping that if the Celtics were to win next Friday night against the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers, who, Celtics know pretty well about how well they're playing, if they take down the Hawks in their matchup, the Celtics would win Group C and advance to the quarterfinal play. So still a chance for a home game here. It gets a little bit murkier if any of those things don't happen. Celtics need to, at the very least, win to have a chance to get into this thing. But let's say that the Hawks won. I believe there'd be a 3-way tie. It would go to point differential. They could still win on that. But the easiest pathway is for Cleveland to make this easy, finish tied with the Celtics at 3-1, and would push the Hawks down to 2 losses because the Hawks lost tonight to the Chicago Bulls. Does this matter? It depends. I do think it's added a little bit of pizzazz to the NBA season. I think I would not have another reason to be scoreboard watching the Atlanta Hawks and Chicago Bulls on a sleepy Friday in November. So I like that it's added a little wrinkle. I also like that the end of the Celtics game was kind of wild. The Celtics were up 5 with maybe a minute-ish to go. But the Wizards started fouling and trying to score, and it helped the Celtics push that lead up to 12, which could ultimately help them in the point differential category. So, yeah. Bottom line is I keep saying it, they got what they needed, a W. 13-3 on the season. Let's focus in on a few things on this matchup. One, Luke Kornet comes off the bench. Nimi Ishiketa struggling. Not a great night for Nimi. Feels like the book is out a little bit in terms of attacking him. He wasn't getting off the ground for rebounds. Let up one sequence where I think the Wizards got 4 offensive rebounds in a row. I'll hope it's just one night where Nimi was just didn't bring the right energy. But Kornet comes in and brought the perfect energy to kind of collect this team and pairs up with that bench group. Peyton Pritchard gave you a spark early. Sam Hauser knocked down some shots. And it just felt like that group kind of got you back on track. And it at least steadied you until Jaylen Brown really took over a little bit for stretches of this game. The other guy that needs to be mentioned is Xavier Tillman. So when Nimi was struggling and you got to get Luke a break at some point, I'm like, man, why isn't X getting a chance here? I know he played sparingly, got that one spot start, and it didn't go well. But I thought Joe would go back to him soon, and sure enough, finally he gets the opportunity. And look, the line's not going to jump off the page. Played 8 minutes, missed both shots he took, had one good look from 3, couldn't get it to go. But 2 rebounds, a block, 2 blocks. And I did think he just gave you good minutes. He reminded you what he can do, the defensive versatility, the ability to. They had him in double big for a little bit, and then put him as the lone 5 in the second half. Everyone keeps asking me, what's going to happen? Do they need to add another big if they can't lean on him? I feel like there's going to be opportunities throughout the season for all these guys, and I do believe X has distinguished himself as someone who can help you. He showed it last year in the playoff run, especially in the finals. That versatility is going to help you, and I do believe at some point he will. There'll be a stretch of games where he just, hey, here's what I can do when called upon. And if all these guys lean into just doing what they need to do in those moments, this team will be fine. And it's a luxury when you're looking for a little something on a tough night in DC, and Xavier Tillman is able to help you out there. The other thing here is Joe Mazzulla got a pretty hilarious technical foul at one point. It wasn't really hilarious. Like, the Celtics were frustrated, and there was calls going against them, and Joe just felt like game needed a little something. So shook it up a little bit. He said afterward it was all about some creating some chaos, some animosity, whatever you want to call it. I love that he just knew that the team needed just a little jolt. And sometimes the coach has to do that. And I also like that Tony Dobbins and Sam Cassell had to play left tackle and make sure he didn't get out on the court and further escalate things with Ed Malloy. And cooler heads prevailed, and the Celtics won the game. So all worked out well. One last thing. Jaylen Brown got to meet Bill Nye after this game. Super cool. Jaylen is at the point in life where you can say something on Twitter on a random night, and then like 2 weeks later, Bill Nye is in the crowd and wants to meet you in the hallway after a game for pictures and a quick chat. So, I think we all aspire to have that sort of clout in the world, but it's Jaylen Brown's world, and we're all just living in it. All right, if you want to hear more about this game, stick around and listen to more from our post-game show, and then I'll be back. Or just if you just want to start looking ahead to Sunday, come scrub forward to the end, and I'll talk to you about that matchup with the Timberwolves.
The Black Friday countdown starts now. Drew Carter here with slam dunk specials from Nissan 24.
Lease a new Nissan Rogue for as little as $199 a month, or lease a new Sentra for as low as $124 a month.
We want to buy your car, and we'll give you top dollar for it. Plus, get 24% off any brake replacement or coolant system services. Score your Black Friday deal before the final buzzer. Shop online at Nissan24auto.com.
Jaylen, I know you guys had a long day on your feet at the White House yesterday, but you come in here. What came over this group in the fourth and in winning time?
Yeah, it looked like it. We came out a little bit sluggish. We lacked some energy, but I think we picked it up in the third and fourth, and just enough to get us over the hump and win the game. But a slow night for us, for sure. Settled for a lot of shots. We got to be better.
You certainly picked it up. How do you gauge what the game needs from you and then go out and execute?
It's tough because you just got to be able to balance it what the team needs. I feel like I got a lot of open looks, but sometimes you got to make sure other guys get open looks. But you got to take what the defense gives you night to night. So tonight we came out a little slow. We picked it up and found a way to win.
And the bench certainly gave you guys a big lift from Peyton to Luke, even X. How important are those guys on a night like this?
Man, those guys have been great all year. Professionals, some studs. They come up when their name is called and they play basketball. So shout out to X. He hasn't played in a while, but he came out and made some contributions. Luke, Sam, and Peyton been doing it all year, so that's what we expect from them to do.
You guys stay alive in the NBA Cup race. How much are you aware of that on the floor, especially the way this game ended?
If it's something to win, I think we want to win it. So, we dropped one against Atlanta on our home floor. We want to make up for it.
Jaylen, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Jaylen Brown admitted it, you guys. They lacked a little bit of the energy. Drew and Scal, I know you guys were talking about midway through the game. But fourth quarter, both Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, they combined for 13 straight, finishing with 15 fourth quarter points. That's kind of big down that stretch to pull out the dub.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is Jayson Tatum said, you know what, I'm not shooting it well from three today. Let me get inside. Let me get that post up. And Jaylen Brown, all night, he's been playing off 2 feet, getting to his spots and figuring it out. And I think there was a few plays in this game that were big. The offensive rebound by Cornette, throws it out to Jaylen Brown. Boom, he sticks a three. And I thought that was really big. And then obviously down the stretch, those guys had to deliver, and that's what happened.
Yeah, those guys alternated baskets down the stretch, and you're so right, Scal. I mean, Jayson Tatum has his worst shooting night of the year, 0 for 10 from downtown. It's the first time all season he hasn't made a three in a game. He's just one above his season low for scoring. He had 16 tonight. And then JB, to be honest, he didn't shoot the ball that well either, but he ended up with 31 points because basically he wouldn't take no for an answer. So these guys, when the game is on the line, despite what the numbers say, you want the ball in the hands of 0 and 7. And then also Derek White, belongs in that discussion because he was another guy who couldn't buy one in the first 3 quarters, and I was looking at his numbers during a break in the fourth quarter because it always seems to happen where D. White makes threes in the fourth quarter. He's shooting about 48% on threes in the fourth quarter this season. So when you have those 3 guys, they're legit closers.
Yeah, Scal, I was going to say, I think D. White is up over 50% in the fourth quarter for the season now. What is it about that? Is it just something about a player that can shake off early struggles and keep it going?
I just think he has unwavering confidence. Even the way he walks around in the fourth quarter. Listen, I would prefer Derek White to look to be more aggressive throughout the game, but I can tell just the way he walks around, almost the way he catches the ball with kind of like a 1-2 hop. He just plays differently, and in the fourth quarter, I think he believes this is my time to shine. And I don't know how the game unfolds. Every game has a life of its own based off of each possession. But that start to the fourth quarter with a lot of it was Derek White and getting us going in the right direction.
Hey, the life of this game was we started off slow. Defensively, I felt like we weren't locked in. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, actually in the third quarter, it started picking up. The fourth quarter, we kind of locked in. Also, the reason why they pay them the big bucks is our 2 big guys showed up when we needed them. 15 points between them in the fourth quarter, 13 straight by those guys. On the court, you guys, you know it's different when you're at the game from watching it on TV. Could you see the different look in that eye, like, hey, we're not going to lose this game, and I'm going to put these guys on our shoulders, and we're going to close this out for us?
Well, Eddie, Jayson Tatum has done like what you have talked about when he has been struggling. Go get an easy one. Go get that fadeaway. Go to the block. Joe Mazzulla ran a really good play for Jayson Tatum. They looped 2 guys. Tatum cut to the basket. He caught the ball with 2 feet in the paint, and he got a layup, right? So those were all designed plays to get him going. But, like you talk about our guys with the big bucks, they can beat you so many different ways, and they can also beat you on the defensive end and rebounding the ball. So I just thought that those guys have been in big games, and you could tell they knew a level they had to go to, and Washington was not going to touch that level.
And one other thing on that is Jayson Tatum leads the NBA in clutch assists this season, which is last 5 minutes of a game within 5 points. That comes from driving, being aggressive, and kicking it out to the open shooters like a Derek White who always makes clutch shots. So obviously those guys deserve a lot of love, but how about a little love for our guy Luke Cornette?
Cornette was good. Tillman was good.
Really good.
And Derek White was good. Like those guys, those moments were big in these games. I know Jaylen Brown's line is the energy shifted, but throughout this game the energy shifted a few times.
When you picked up the tech in the second half there, what were you frustrated with in that moment? And
I thought it changed the energy in the arena. Did you feel that?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask, in a moment like that, do you try to pick one up to energize the guys? Would you even think about getting ejected to energize the team in a spot like that?
It wasn't really about energizing the team. I think it was just manipulating the environment. I thought it's kind of what the environment needed at the time, and you just have to make those calls from time to time. So really, I thought the team was. We were playing pretty good. It wasn't like I needed to do that, but I felt like it was a way to manipulate the environment.
Gear up for more in the year of 24 at the award-winning 24 Auto Group. This is our year, and we want to celebrate it with you. That's why we've got sales and service specials, giveaway contests and prizes, and fun family events happening all year long. So tune in every 24th of the month for the latest year of 24 news and offers. With 10 convenient locations across Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and 8 top brands, we have the knack to save you more in the year of 24. Visit us in-store or online at 24autogroup.com.
It was a big night for you. You got to meet Bill Nye.
Yeah.
What was that like for you? And what convinced you a couple weeks ago to tweet that? And what went on behind the scenes, whatever, to kind of set that up?
I can't remember what maybe even tweet that. I think I was just up thinking about just, your educational experience, and it just crossed my mind. I was like, man, I got to meet this guy. His contributions to STEM and STEAM have been amazing, and he made learning fun. Growing up, I used to be excited when the teacher used to say, "We watching, Bill Nye today." Looking back on it, to be able to shake his hand for helping me in my educational journey, it was pretty cool tonight.
Did you know he was going to the game tonight? Were you surprised when you saw him on the Jumbotron? How did that go?
I didn't know. I think it was just a kind of a combination of both. I think we were trying to see what was going to work. Maybe we were going to do something in LA or not, but I think he just happened to be here, so it kind of fell in place. But what an honor. What an honor. Definitely was excited to meet him, and it was pretty cool to just shake his hand. Yeah, it's both. It's the flow of the game, and then just having the awareness of whatever it needs to win this game. We felt like we got a bunch of open looks, that just didn't go down tonight. And we just had to make that transition. Sometimes we need to make that transition a little faster to just, get to the paint, create opportunities at the free throw line, But tonight was a decent example of that. I feel like we shot too many threes. I definitely feel like I shot too many threes. I settled too much. But it's learning as we adjust with different lineups and stuff like that. Teams are playing different ways. I'll adjust.
Obviously, your offense is geared towards drive, kick, shoot all the open threes that you want, right? Generate the good ones and take them. But how tough is it? I don't know if that's the right way to put it. How tough is it to find the line between, we got the green light to shoot, but sometimes it crosses into settling? What's that process of knowing, hey, I am settling a little bit, I got to change something, versus I know this is a good shot, I got to take it?
Yeah, it's definitely a line, and it's kind of a feel thing from game to game. Against certain opponents, you feel good about some of those shots, and then against, other opponents where you see somebody in front of you, even if it is a good look, I can still get 2 feet in the paint and either get to the free throw line or draw the defense and create something for my teammates. So it definitely is a line, and you just got to be able to read it night to night. I don't think we were great at it night to night. Tonight, I thought we shot the ball not well, but I think we did enough to win this game.
Hey, Jaylen. Bilal Coulibaly got the assignment to guard you and Jayson for the game. What did you think about that matchup with him, and what did you think about his defense on Jayson specifically, because it was a tough shooting night for him?
I think Coulibaly is a good young player. He's from France, right? France should be proud. I think he's learning, developing, and he's well on his way to just make an impact.
Jaylen, when you guys don't shoot the ball well from three like tonight, collectively, and yourself too for that matter, but when you are able to do the things you did to get a win like this against a team that's, up and coming and trying to learn how to win, what's that say about your team right now?
Yeah, just finding ways to win, having versatility, having the humility to see it's not going the way you wanted it to, and be humble enough to just do whatever it takes to figure it out. Obviously, we would love for our threes to go in each and every night, but tonight they weren't, and you got to find other ways to win on the glass. Score in transition, defend at a high level, keep a team under 100. So we figured it out, and we're still figuring it out as a team. It's a new season, but all of this is adding to our learning process, and it's great to be able to win games and learn at the same time.
Jaylen, Joe got his tech today. I guess he was pretty fiery. He said he wanted to inject some life and energy. I guess, how do you guys respond to something like that?
Well, one, I think it was an obvious foul that they missed. I don't know what that was, but we did we didn't have a lot of energy tonight. I think it was kind of clear. Maybe it was just yesterday. We were, long day. We came in a little bit flat, so we definitely needed to find different ways to put a pep in our step. And, I guess Joe getting the tech kind of, I don't know if that helped or hurt, but, we just needed to be better. And I think that was the start of it.
Last two questions, Justin and Gary. Jaylen, Joe went to Xavier tonight. First time in a while he played rotation minutes. What did you think of his performance?
I thought Xavier made contributions. I thought that, it's tough not being able to play for a while and then coming back into the lineup. But, X is a guy that contributes to our offense and defense, being able to switch, him being able to guard other opposing teams' guards so we can play 15 and then rebound. I think that's an asset for us. So throughout the season, we're going to need to use that and utilize that more. So he just got to stay ready.
Jaylen, you guys in 23, you almost got there. You lost, obviously, to the Heat, Game 7. And to see guys that like Malcolm or Robert Williams or Marcus, and what's your emotion when you see guys that almost got there with you but didn't, were moved? And I mean, is it kind of a sympathetic? I mean, the league's a business, but to see guys who were part of that and wanted to do that with you and couldn't, what's kind of your reaction?
It's family. A lot of those guys, we were in the trenches with, a lot of adversity, just maneuvering through different seasons. And it's just great to always be able to see them, know their family is doing well, know that their mind is in a good place or they're in good spirits is good. Obviously, we all know it's a business, things happen and move on, and I think that's a part of it. But just to know that they're doing well outside of basketball and they're continuing to be in good spirits is really all you could do.
Up next, Celtics and Timberwolves. All right. So as uninspired as Boston's effort was tonight, I do suspect it'll flip on Sunday, a matinee with the Timberwolves coming to town, Anthony Edwards. Let's face it, those were two of the best games last season. Both matchups against the Timberwolves were just instant classic type games. Two of the more memorable regular season games the Celtics played. I suspect there'll be an energy in that building. Anthony Edwards, Jayson Tatum, sort of MVP caliber type game. I think Jaylen Brown's in that mix too. He always seems to get up to go against Anthony Edwards with their Georgia roots. And so I just think this could be a really fun game. I think if the Celtics struggle to sort of crank it up a little bit in D.C., I think they'll be motivated back home against a team that, has had a little bit of an uneven start. I don't think it's totally unexpected. You can understand making the Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns swap. Might have thrown off some stuff up there in Minnesota. I also feel pretty confident they're going to figure it out. And while it hasn't been exactly, I was going to say it hasn't been perfect. It has been some bumps on the road up there as they figure out how this all works with Randle and Gobert's still there, and they've got some work to do. But you got Anthony Edwards, and you feel like with all the other talent they've got on that roster, they've got a chance. It'll be a good challenge for these Celtics, and a chance to really see if the Celtics can, again, turn it back up. I think we've seen throughout the season, right? Opening night against the Knicks, against the Cavaliers the other night, even the game against the Warriors where Celtics were obviously didn't win that game, but when it's the magnitude of opponent is up on the other side, the Celtics go up. When the caliber of the opponent goes down, Celtics sometimes go down in matches. So I think the energy will be up on Sunday at TD Garden, and then after that, you start looking ahead. I'm telling you, I know we got another 3-day break in the middle of next week, but there's that big showdown with the Bulls, setting up the potential advance in the NBA Cup. So a lot to look forward to moving forward as soon as we can forget all about this Wizards game. I need everybody to go like, subscribe, check us out on the YouTube page. I'll catch you next time on the Celtics Talk Podcast.